There's only a few days left on our Value and Todd merch, so make sure you get it before it's too late in the description down below, and check in a few days for our new monthly merch. Hello everybody, we are here with your Jing Wei guide. Gonna be playing her, of course, in the Hunter role, where she belongs, which means we're starting with the standard Hunter build, that being Hunter's Blessing, Tier 1 Spike Gauntlet, which will be going into Devo Gloves, 3 health pots, a multi-pot, and our beads. So step 1 for Jing Wei, we're going to talk about it because there's no way to avoid it. It is her passive. Jing Wei has one of the coolest passives in the game. When exiting the fountain, you prepare for takeoff, and then you speed into the sky. This lasts for 4 seconds, and you can make it a pretty dang good distance. Oftentimes, you're going to use it to get back to lane, / fly yourself right over to these back harpies in order to get a little bit of bonus farm on your Jing Wei. The ability that we're going to get a level 1, which is also the ability we will max first, is our 1. Our 1 is our Persistent Gus. This is a fairly small circle where enemies inside the circle, if they get hit by the initial burst damage, will take a good solid chunk. Plus, when they stand inside of this for a continued duration, they will be bleeding inside of this ability. And it is also a knockup. It is a knockup on enemies and on yourself. Now, why would you want to knock yourself up? Don't worry, there are reasons on Jing Wei why you'd want to do that. One is when you walk into this ability, you just straight up gain attack speed. So when you walk up into this ability, for the next 5 seconds, you gain attack speed on Jing Wei, which is really nice, and that attack speed does scale as you continue to level up. That was a really good Sylvanas pull. So we're gonna pop our health potion and our multi-potion at the same time to make sure that we start getting our heals. And now we can turn our attention towards this Sylvanas because he's quite low. He's going to be quite dead. Pop another potion. I'm going to dash, and now I'm way behind this guy. So you can see right there the combination of our 1 and our 3. Our 3 is our escape ability here on Jing Wei. But it's actually more than just an escape. So by itself, it's actually a tiny little dash. You can see just a tiny little dash, but you can use this ability. This is a unique getaway skill. You can use this while knocked up. So whether you're knocking up yourself or getting knocked up by somebody else, so you get Bacchus flopped, you can use this ability while in the air in that Bacchus flop. Or you can walk into your own Persistent Wing Gust, and then you can use it, and it increases the distance of your dash. After you use this dash, you also gain power, movement speed. But if you're in the air when you use it, you gain more power and more movement speed than you would have otherwise. So when you're in the air, longer distance, more power, and more movement speed. All right, so it's better when it's used in the air. You don't have to. You can use it by itself. You know, sometimes you'll have to, but in general, it is bigger when you can use it in the air. The ability that we're going to get here at level 4 on Jing Wei, and the ability that I actually level last, is going to be our Explosive Bolt. Jing Wei, with this ability, her auto attacks become a little bit larger, so it becomes a little bit easier to hit your auto attacks, and those auto attacks become AoE. So your next 3 auto attacks have a slightly wider auto attack range, so these autos are slightly easier to hit. And you can see I'm grouping up those creeps because it has that AoE damage that I'm going to be able to use, so it's great for lane clear. It will also passively give you crit chance as you rank up this ability. This is relevant on Jing Wei because we're going to be building into crit every single time on Jing Wei just because of how well it stacks on her. But as far as the laning phase, as far as it being an ability that we put points into, it is going to be the last one. Because our 3 gives us that increased power in movement speed, but most importantly, it lowers the cooldown of this ability. And I like this to be as low a cooldown as humanly possible. Some people like to level the 2 before the 3, but I would recommend doing 4, 1, 3, 2 for your leveling order on Jingwei. Which brings us, of course, to our ultimate. So now that I can afford my Devo gloves, I'm going to go ahead and back up. Normally, I'd recommend getting boots first on hunters, but because I'm Jingwei, I can always just fly back to the lane. Jingwei in general, an extremely safe hunter. Extremely safe. Part of the reason why she's extremely safe is because of her ultimate. So with her ultimate, she does a giant leap into the air. You do damage to everybody in this radius. There's a small build-up timer on this, probably like a half a second before you actually go into the air where you just kind of stand still. So do keep that in mind. It's not instantaneous. You do damage to everybody that is in that giant square, and then you can hover in the air for 2 seconds, but then eventually you have to come down. So you can use this ability to do something like, say, get over a wall. Should be noted that even when you're in Jingwei's air on her 3, like this, funny enough, Rama started ulting at me. Even when you're in the air like that, you can see I hit the wall. Just because you're in the air does not mean it's a leap. This ability is always a dash. So it's not like it's a dash on the floor and a leap in the air. It is a dash all the time. You just happen to have an aesthetic higher in the air when you're actually using it from a knockup. But it is still a dash. So on Jingwei, you're going to see that we back a lot. The reason why we back a lot is because we have absolutely no fear of missing out on XP because of our passive. In fact, oftentimes it's going to let us gain bonus XP because we can just fly to those back harpies, knock them out, and then come to lane and usually only miss like one creep.
Gank left lane.
Do be noted, if you are in the air while you're doing this, right? If you're dashing while in the air like that, because you are technically still knock-upped, you can be pulled by a Wheelix. So just keep that in mind. It's not a real leap, but you're technically knocked up, like for the entire duration, so you can be yoinked out of the out of the sky by a Wheelix.
Ultimate is ready.
Hopefully he can finish that kill by himself. I'm gonna ulti out of this. I know the Rama ult is down. Oh, just kidding. It is not down. It is apparently back up, but we're gonna be able to dodge it and live through it.
Stay close. You're no use to me.
So I used my regular dash right there just to give me a little bit of space, and then I used my
You're on fire.
ultimate to get even more space between us. That's a Thana ult down, so I'm just gonna waddle all the way back here. Hopefully Thana doesn't blink before I come back. Cool. Now I can get my boots. Here, thing about Jingwei, I can leave that base at about, I don't know, 75% HP. It'll keep regenerating me while I'm coming out, and then I'm already back over here towards my buffs to defend everything, even though I got poked out of lane. Because of this, this often means that on Jingwei, you are going to get a level lead. You're really trying to grab some extra XP on Jingwei by nature of your passive. So here at level 8, I'm going to save my point, and I'm going to level 9, get a point in my 1 and my ultimate. That way I can get the extra damage on this, and I can get the extra damage on my 1, as well as the bonus attack speed that you get from your 1. So when you're going aggressive on Jingwei, your standard combo is going to be the following. You're going to throw down your 1 aggressively. Hopefully it hits them and does the damage and the knockup. Then you're going to run into it, and you're going to dash at them aggressively, because that's going to give you that bonus attack speed, that bonus movement speed, and really let you go ham on the fight. If somebody's under tower like this, you can try to throw down your ulti and go for the kill. It's a little risky, but you can basically dash out the radius of your ultimate. So I dash right in there. I don't hit them, but I can just go ahead and run away, no problemo. Only took 1 tower shot during that whole thing. Gotta get ourselves a ninja tab eye. You can see that I'm popping my 2 every time I'm in the base. That's because your 2 gives you those enhanced autos. You can pop it in the base. It'll stay on you. You can see the little arrows here on your marker indicating that you have 3 of those shots left. And then after I use them, I can immediately pop it again. So I actually have 6 in a row. So watch. 1, 2, 3. Pop the ability again. 1, 2, 3. So you can have it double charged, which is why every time before I leave the base, I pop that ally
has been slain.
might as well have 6 arrows if you can. So we land the one, we get the damage off. I'm going to dash on in, trying to force him to use stuff. I'm going to pop my AoE autos, which is going to hit him through those creeps because they become AoE. And now at level 10, we're going to start putting some more points into hour 3. I'm going to throw down my beads right there just to make sure he can't root me and yoink me after it's all said and done. I don't really feel like I have to back right now. It's going to get out some nice poke. My ultimate's coming back up in 5 seconds. So for our next ability, we are going to be grabbing our Atalanta's bow, or kin size, whatever you prefer. Kins often ends up in these builds. If you want to go the standard no crit hunter build, you can. I am not going to. I believe you should always personally build Jingwei with crit, but just in case you are not comfortable with crit, you can still run that kin size build on her, which is the pretty standard kins Atalantas. You know, you see it basically on all the other hunters. But for Jingwei, what we're going to do is we're going to grab this 3rd item, Atalantas, and then we're going to get a 4th item, Rage. And then we're going to go into a 5th item, Deathbringer.
Let's see if we can use the element of surprise.
Assuming nothing too crazy happens with these builds. You can see they've got a little bit of healing. They've got a Thanatos, a Fenrir, a Sylvanas. So they've got a good bit of healing. It is not your job as the hunter to buy the anti-healing. Anti-healing items for hunters are pretty dang bad. It is up to your jungler. Your mid laner, the Brawlers B6, the Divine Ruins of the world are just so much better than like Toxic Blade and stuff. So it's really not your problem. He might go for the snipe on me. I'm definitely low enough to snipe. I'm going to run in the jungle and just heal up a little bit off this camp. Cool. That's fine. Pop my 2. I'm just going to back it on up. Head back to the base. I don't even think he can see me. And then we'll fly right on back. Never be afraid to back on Jingwei. Abuse that passive. Lord knows if he needs to get back to lane. You can even get back to lane a little bit faster. Throw out your 1. If you even consider about missing NPCs, boom, you can use your 3 to get back to lane even quicker. You'll use a little bit of your mana, but you can even get back to lane quicker if you're worried about missing out on some creeps. Jingwei can back with ease all the time. Jingwei as a hunter loves boxing. She is a great 1v1 hunter. The hardest thing about her is going to be consistently hitting your 1. It's actually not that easy of an ability to land. Going against Sylvanas is not bad for me at all. So what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to use my dash, because if he goes ahead and ulties, I can dash away after he uses his ulti. So I'm going to make sure that I do not use mine. I got to be careful with this Fenrir, though. I have to dash away now because I know the Fenrir is going to ult, and I'm not going to be able to get out of that one. Which brings up a good point. Fenrir is a great counter god against Jingwei. That is because, like we mentioned earlier, your 3 is a dash, not a leap, meaning that Brutalize will stick on you the entire time, just as if you were going against, just as if you were brutalizing on a Rama or whatever. Anything that's a dash, Fenrir will stay on the entire time. Which brings us into some of our matchups. Jingwei loves going against gods with knockups because she can just easily dash away from them. So somebody like Sylvanas is actually a great god for Jingwei to go against. Bacchus. I like Jingwei against Hu Yi because he can't use his dash aggressively. All sorts of stuff like that. I'm going to body block the Fenrir right here. Oh my goodness. He is healing so freaking much. Oh my goodness, unfortunate. So you can see right there, Hera ultimate is a very small knockup. So I used my dash after I got Hera ultied to get away. Unfortunately, the Thanatos also landed on top of me. But we did use that right there. So Hera, another great god. Anything that you can abuse your passive with to avoid a big form of CC. Knockups are the best form of CC in Smite, so being able to avoid it is very strong.
Enemy missing middle.
As far as gods you don't like going against, you do not want to go against people that are building Reflect. So solo laners in general can be quite scary for Jingwei. If they go to build Thorns, because you really, really want to build crit, and Thorns is the ultimate counter to crit. You hate going against Kuzenbo. That's a disaster. And in general, cripples are still pretty annoying for you.
No contest.
So gods with cripples are pretty much annoying for all hunters. But mostly it's going to be reflect damage in the form of Thorns from solo laners, as well as gods like Kuzenbo that have it built into their kits.
I'm going to set up a trap.
So we've got our pen online with the Atalantas. We've got some decent damage. I could start rotating a little bit just because I can get back to lane no problem. So I can start being a little bit more aggressive. Rama was around here somewhere. He actually might have rotated
Enemy missing.
over to that mid lane, kind of through the other area where I couldn't see, which is funny. He did, but that's actually going to give me some opportunity over here to shove in left. You can use your one and your dash, give you that bonus attack speed and bonus damage against towers. This helps Jingwei split push a lot. So remember, you walk into your one, you gain a bunch of bonus attack speed. You use your three, you gain a bunch of bonus power. So you use that together, that's a 40% attack speed buff and a 30 power buff, which of course does work against a tower because it's just flat power, flat attack speed, nothing different than like you having an actual item. Make sure you're popping your 2 to have it up all the time, like we talked about earlier. That way you can go ahead and pop it a second time when you need to. So you can potentially have those 6 bigger auto attacks, those 6 bigger crits. I can see that a fight is breaking out in right lane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up. I'm going to buy my tier 2 short sword, pop my 2 and a sentry ward. And then I'm going to use my passive to fly over to the solo lane. The way that you rotate quickly to T2s on Jingwei is that you back up and then you fly over. This is always going to be faster than if you were to just like manually walk over. So never feel bad. Now I can see the Rama is shoving up left lane. I'm going to back up again. I'm going to finish up my rage and I'm going to fly right over to the tier 2 tower over in the left lane. I don't have to wait for my HP to heal all the way up. It'll keep ticking as I get myself into the air. I want to chase this Rama, so I'm going to throw down my 1 right over here on these creeps. Then I'm going to use it as a dash, throw out some auto attacks, and so the chase begins. Unfortunately, Hera is here with Argus once again, so I'm going to dash out, quickly try to heal up off these creeps just in case he wanted to ulti me on the Rama. And just like that, I back up again, and now I can go back to any other lane that I need to go to. Make sure you are abusing that passive on Hera. I'm going to, on Jingwei. Now I'm going to get myself right back over to this dual lane. Both of my actives are down, and so are my passives. So I don't super want to fight. I'd rather just go back to farming. Now that we're starting to actually get some points in our 2, we're going to get the bonus crit chance off of this. So at the end of the game, we'll have 20% crit chance. When you combine that with your rage and the Deathbringer, you're going to have so much crit chance. And honestly, we'll probably get a Wind Demon as well. If you're going to buy rage and Deathbringer, there's pretty much no reason not to get a Wind Demon. Because reminder, Wind Demon does give a little bit of percent pen now. So you can add that on top of your Atalanta's bow crit.
Let's have some fun.
Not gonna aggress on this because I don't have any actives or my ulti up, so it's a little risky, but I should be able to go ahead and just steal his purple buff really quick. I'm gonna dash right here just to get outside of that Hera range. I'm gonna throw down my 1 defensively, so if they want to run through that little area, they get knocked up no matter what. So you can use your 1 to knock off to cross off some areas on the map. So I knew they were going to be able to get to me through that area. I quickly turn around, throw down my 1. That way, if they want to get through, they have to take the damage, and they have to get knocked up, thus slowing down their pursuit. Can walk back over. Try to get enough for 1,500 gold. I see there's a fight breaking out over in the jungle. So I'm going to start rotating over. My ulti is back up. My beads are back up in 5. My main priority target is going to be the Rama. I'm going to throw down my 1 right below his feet. Unfortunately, it does not hit him. I'm going to get a little greedy. I'm going to dash in on this for the bonus attack speed and movement speed. He actually gets... I'm going to ulti through the wall right here. I'm going to kill the Rama, and we're going to force the Argus ult. I'm going to try to dodge that little Hera nonsense. Should be able to avoid this death. Turn around and get some damage on Argus. You know what time it is. Time to... Oh, no! Time to wait until Brutalize is done. Brutalize follows you through that ability, so wait until the Brutalize is done before you actually try to jump away. But now that I'm back here, I'm waiting for my 2. Pop the 2. Head back out. I didn't want to use my Brutalize too early, otherwise he would have been able to fly right to me. And now I'm going to try to get back on this Hera, get rid of Argus. Dash through this, try to avoid that nonsense. Unfortunately, still hits me. I'm not going to be able to continue chasing that, so I'm going to try to come back for Fenrir right here, just try to see where he's going. Throw down my 1. Unfortunately, not going to knock him up, so I've got to use my beads. Woo! Not going to be able to get out of that one. That is a huge Fenrir solo. By golly gee. Somebody got shreckled over in the solo lane. So for our abilities that we talked about, our ultimate does go through walls. Our 3 will not because it is a dash. Our 2 is a self-stim, and you can throw your 1 over a wall. That's going to be a hard fight over there for the boys. Jing, the 2 things that she thrives at most is 1, 1v1ing enemy hunters. Because she gets that bonus crit chance, it means that anybody that she's fighting, she can basically beat them 1v1. The only matchup you have to be a little bit concerned about in regards to the crit is Hui. I like going against Hui on Jingwei, I do. Even though he's got the anti-crit passive, I actually still think the matchup favors Jingwei. Because Hui can be aggressive with his jump on you. Otherwise, you can just dash right on away, and it's pretty easy for you to get out of his ultimate.
I'm going to set up a trap.
But do be aware, you can only crit Hui once every 3 seconds. So the crit builds just in general don't work that well against him. He can still beat him in the 1v1 though, even if you just get the 1 crit. Nothing wrong with that. They've got the Oni creeps, so I've got to push these out. I'm going to try to get these creeps grouped up first. Then I'm going to throw down my 1 after they are grouped up. Try to see if there's any farm up over here. Maybe a Rama out of position. Nope. Gonna grab 1 more wave. They know that I'm all the way over here. Hopefully somebody backs, and I'm gonna try to get over to the fire giant. They're definitely starting up the fire. I'm gonna sell my Hunter's Blessing because I can get a full Death Bringer. Try to fly out of this base. It looks like they're probably just gonna get the fire for free. Try to follow up on the knock-up on Fenrir. Oh, well, we should be able to hopefully get him. I'm looking towards fire. They did not get it. Nice. Wow, Fenrir's blinked out. He is 14-4. That's a big lad. Trying to see if our Kumbhakarna can't find anything back here. This is pretty greedy of us. Not like end of the world greedy, but pretty greedy. Because Fenrir's probably going to teleport in. Does he have teleport? He does. So he probably TP'd back into that T2. So we should just back on out of this. Now that I've got the Deathbringer online, we talked about it. My next item is going to be Wind Demon. Give me a little bit more crit chance. Basically going to cap me out on the crit. As well as giving me the additional penetration when I do actually get those crits, and because I'll have like 100% crit chance, that's pretty much all the time. Throwing down my beads should hopefully be enough to grab the kill. Wow, we just can't finish them. So low, but we just can't put them down. I'm gonna try to head back towards this Fenrir. Pop my 2.
Triple kill.
Wow. That's a triple kill on the Fen, boys. I'm gonna back it up and just heal off some camps. Go defend the T2 in right lane. They can basically get whatever they want right now. We're just on defense duty. Let's grab that level 20. They're gonna go start up the fire giant. I've got my Aegis up. Thana's pretty low.
Your middle tower
Should have a little bit of time. So I'm gonna walk around the back. Look for the Rama. Well, I got them off the fire giant. That's a 1 HP Thana, 1 HP Rama. We didn't get any kills, but we didn't let them get the fire giant, and so that's gonna be a worth it trade. Now we can back it up into the Wind Demon, as well as grabbing some wards out for our team. At this point, pretty much everybody on their team is going to be squishy to me. Even the tankiest of characters like Fenrir, I honestly shouldn't have that much problem with in the backline. So in the backline, I should be fine in my 1v1s. The biggest thing that I've actually probably got to worry about is just an Argus running down at me, because he's got so much HP when he gets max leveled. And more importantly, he's going to be body blocking the targets that I want to be hitting. Argus, for all intents and purposes at this point of the game, is a big old body blocking tank. So I got to be a little bit careful with that.
I will not.
All right. I'm going to take this red buff and I'm going to start heading over.
No contest.
Pop my 2 to get that bonus crit chance. Wow, that's a very fast Hera. Looks like Thana might ulti back in on his mid. I'm just gonna back out this way. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get out at all. That is the longest polyprog I've ever seen. Tried to use my ulti behind a wall, and then I was gonna try to sit in the air and wait out the Rama ult, but we're not quite going to be able to. You are not, of course, able to be hit by a Rama ult while you're at the top of your Jing ulti, because you can just kind of sit in it and chill out. So they're going to be able to go get all of the objectives. They're going to get at least the tier 2s. We can't defend the tier 2s at this point in the game. After the 20-minute marker, you basically just let the tier 2s go if the enemy team has the fire giant. So if our Surcat maybe like steals the fire giant, then we're all right. But if they get that fire, we just kind of have to let all the tier 2s go. It's actually going to be, well, it was going to be pretty close. I thought he was going to use his cudgel and not his ultimate to start off that fight. So I'm just going to fly over to left lane. I'm going to see if maybe the Gold Fury is up while they got everybody over there on the right-hand side. Going to go push out that left lane and just get us a little bit of pressure on the other side of the map while I can.
Let's see if we
Try to
can use the element of
maximize my
surprise.
efficacy right now. There's no point, like we said, to defend those T2s. So I'm not going to bother with any of that.
Your right tower.
I do, though, on the other hand, need to be defending for the Phoenix. And there's a decent chance that they go right for the Phoenix. I'm going to back up, grab my tier 2. If you want to leave the base without flying on Jingwei, like I just did, you can literally just jump out of the base. It seems kind of silly, but the jump button will let you leave the base without having to fly. Sometimes when the people are right in the Phoenix range, you don't want to actually fly out of the base. Sometimes it can actually be detrimental, and it can put you in a bad spot. So you can literally use the jump key right over the line, and if you jump right over the line, it's super easy just to get out of it. Sometimes if you try to right-click out of the ability, Smite freaks out. So I recommend jumping. Jumping seems to be way more consistent than the actual canceling mechanic. So if you just jump right over the line, whoop, you can walk out of the base. At this point, we're just chilling underneath our Phoenixes. We are on that Phoenix defense grind. So I got to be careful of this Fenrir, obviously. You can see how big he is. He's got a hybrid solo laner build. Luckily, we do actually have a good bit of pen in our kit. If I could just get this Wind Demon online, I'd be a lot more comfortable with the 30% pen. I do. I'm going to back it up. Save that too. Okay. So now with our crit chance, we've got what? 36% from Rage, another 25% from Deathbringer. We've got another 20% from our ability and 15 from Wind Demon. Yeah, we're gonna be critting, you know? That's not even a fully stacked Rage or anything. So we're gonna be finding the crits. Because we're finding the crits, that means I'm gonna get the Wind Demon proc for the increased attack speed and the increased penetration, which is gonna help me a lot in killing somebody like Fenrir. So if he goes for the Brutalize on me, I'm going to have the free autos on him, and I'm just going to try to lay down the law with my auto attacks and try to bring him down before he can do anything crazy, like ulti me and try to bring me back to the team. Once again, got to watch out for those ultis like Hera. Too scary. Just playing back right along the walls, trying to see if there's like a target I can knock up. Maybe try to push them towards the Phoenixes, get them out of position.
No contest.
Trying to keep my 2 up for that bonus attack speed. Or excuse me, for the bonus crit whenever I can. It's a little bit far forward. It's nice to have the Sylvanas all down. It's a good ulti to already have down. Nothing over there. And we're just chilling. This is the waiting portion of the game where it may not be the most exciting, but the right thing to do is just chill. Their Fire Giant is actually out and out. So we can start to get some wards.
Defend the Fire
And
Giant.
we should go to defend the Fire Giant. This is now the Enhanced Fire Giant. The Enhanced Fire Giant is an extremely powerful buff. And pretty much always worth defending as long as you're not down 2+ Phoenixes. So I'm going to try to grab this purple. Do I have enough time? I'm hopefully going to be able to grab this purple. Grab that bonus pen and attack speed. Back it up and then fly over to that Fire Giant side of the map. Start to bring ourselves over here. Good. Fenrir's down to half HP. That's wonderful. I picked up my buff for the extra damage. Gonna throw out a little ward right here to know that I'm safe moving up. They're gonna try to heal up. I'm gonna move forward. I think the Hera's gonna try to run through here. She did. Just kinda can get rid of that. Otherwise it's gonna be in my way when I'm trying to auto. They had a ward right on top of me. That's a good kind of ward right there. Okay. Okay, that is his Brutalize. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not going to do anything too crazy. I got to pop my beads and my Aegis because of this Thanatos in the back line, and now I got to watch out for the Romp. Dang! Good snipe right there from the Rama at the end into the roll-out crit, dude. Ow. That hurt. Fire started off so well for us. So well, we got our Wukong and our Kumba alive. There's a good chance that they go right on down for the mid Phoenix. Hera, Sylvanas, Rama, they do have ending potential, but Wukong and Kumba also have defending potential. Although, if he gets yoinked in right away and instant dead, okay, well, they no longer have defending potential. So not going to be able to come out on top of this one, but this is the build that you're looking to be running on the Jing way. You're going to be able to get a lot of damage out with this type of the build. But at the end of the day, if you're playing in dual lane, you do have to rely, of course, on those other people on your team. So the big thing for Jingwei, don't be afraid to play aggressive in lane. Make sure to properly utilize your passive, flying from lane to lane, particularly when defending towers in the early game. And make sure that you are building crit, because crit is so strong on her because it stacks so well with her natural built-in crit on her too. And you too can have top damage on your team. And that is our Jingwei guide.